Stop child labor. At Wanji. Again. What? Stop child labor. At Wanji.
Mola tu hele mina, mola tu hele. Stop child labor. Omba child labor.
Nimilandu gumuchita mamwe, nimilandu mwe.
Omba child labor.
Kunyabulisa bana vole mwe, nimilandu mwe.
Stop child labor.
Kusebenzesa bana mumini mwe, nimilandu mwe.
So hard, but them getting exploited each and every day. They don't get no respect from society, toiling and suffering for nothing in return. Make them machines of society. The trade is warning you, this thing must stop. Labor. Stop child labor.
Deshi bashambana, deshi bashambana.
Amidst its vast and adequate land and beauty, African children live each day with a common enemy, perhaps too common to be noticed: child labor. In Zambia, like many other third world or developing countries, the sight of working children is as common as the poverty backgrounds which these unfortunate children come from. Children as young as 6 years can be seen in the day-to-day hustle and bustle of urban and indeed rural economic and social machineries. Across the continent, these children work in the domestic sector, agriculture, manufacturing and production, mining and quarrying, fishing and commercial sex work, while others are child soldiers in areas engulfed in armed conflicts. Child labor can be seen anywhere and everywhere. What is child labor?
Child labor actually is a situation where you find that children who are at a particular age, when they become active in the society, say at the age of 9 going up, they are used in such a way that they are abused. They are not used in the way that really children are to be used in their particular home, even in societies, even in places like marketplaces, I would say.
Stop child labor. Stop child labor. Johnny Baba, Johnny Baba, Johnny Baba, Johnny Baba.
Almost all countries in the world have a problem with child labor. And when we say child labor, we are thinking of exploitative labor, where the child undergoes stress and strain, which affects him physically, mentally, socially, let me say psychosocial problems.
Vana vang'ono kuvapasa ntchito ikulu chinthu choyipa maningi, chinthu choyipa sichabwino bana wang'ono wakazinyamula 50 kg ya unga nikupa wana sasa kula ndio ma president wa Maiko.
In their tireless efforts to assist nations to effectively combat child labor, ILO IPEC found the need to appoint ambassadors against child labor. In Africa, where orienting children to the ethics of work is vital in skills building and survival, it is vital to understand what child labor is. Soon after the appointment of the ambassadors, Association of Artists Promoting Children's Rights in Zambia, APCR Zambia, was born. Among other activities, the organization brought together artists of different disciplines at a training workshop on issues of child labor. Realizing the vast potentials and influence that musicians and artists have, it is essential that these artists be provided with precise and adequate information on developmental issues if they are to take up their role as advocates for positive social change. The artists got down to work at Lusaka's Swilanji Gardens. The ambassador against child labor, Maiko Zulu, officially opened the workshop.
Child labor is the most common abuse of children in the world today, and Zambia is no exception. Despite having ratified the ILO Convention 182 on the worst forms of child labor, Zambia as a country has not made tremendous steps in sensitizing the general public and defining the problem of child labor at a layman's point of view, thus taking for granted the enormous effects associated with child labor. This has resulted into our hosting of this workshop, which we hope will further strengthen ties among artists of various disciplines. It is my sincere hope that this workshop will stimulate each and every participant and increase their capacities on issues of child labor. We also hope that this is the beginning of an extensive program which will in future encompass issues like poverty alleviation, through creation of artistic schools, rehabilitation, through creation of shelter homes, led by artists, HIV, AIDS, and also to redress further issues of children involved in armed conflict across the continent. I wish on behalf of APCR Zambia, the artists and the children of Zambia to sincerely thank the International Labour Organization through its IPEC program for accepting and funding our project and also to implore other donors and corporate organizations to emulate what ILO has done in recognizing even individual efforts in promotion of children's rights.
Apart from the brilliant artistic displays, the artists also pondered on other matters of concern. During the group discussions, issues like the social welfare, the victim support, child labor and health, and the psychosocial issues of vulnerable children were looked at thoroughly.
Corporal punishment. You may find that the boy is told to carry my pan bricks. Pa or criminal pa mompa desk whereby on a chair. Those things.
For the welfare of the child socially, and what is it that we need in the society to provide for the child? Like now it comes, what does the child want? Maybe we should be children now and say, what are we going to do? Now, in doing that, he said, first let's define what is social welfare. Then we'll look at the issues of the child in this society. What's the problem that the child is suffering? Or how is the child being incapacitated in our society? Is the child satisfied or not? If the child is not satisfied, what are the problems?
You could see that the youths and the young people were in control themselves. See?
The afternoon sessions were on a more artistic and fun level, with all artists presenting different role plays.
Water and water makes us grow. The secrets of the world is covered in water. We all have face for water. If we pour water on our plants to grow.
It was also time to share laughter.
So that's two pictures about child abuse. Yeah. Okay, sometimes you talk to the deaf and the dumb. It's not always people who are able-bodied, I guess, who are able to hear. So sometimes you have to use two pictures to talk to people like that.
For the first time in Ranel first? Huh? Yes. For the first time in my life, I've seen a still picture laughing. Also, for the first time, I've seen somebody being hit by a bottle but smiling. What was laughing?
However, the artists were focused on the issues at hand.
First of all, as artists, we need to direct our energy to positive things. Because we were talking during the tea break to say, normally, we always want to shoot ourselves down. We see St. Maiko is doing APCR. We're going to look for the negative things and talk negatively, you know what I'm saying? And then in terms of the sexual offenses, like he said, if you look at the defilement cases and whatever, almost 98% of the cases that go to court, people are acquitted, you know, because the way the sexual offenses are, they are so strict, they are so tight, you find that when you go to court, they ask for all these corroborative, evidences and stuff like that, meaning that if I was defiled, there should have been a witness there, all the time, if I'm going to be raped as a woman, maybe I was walking alone in a street or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't always have to have a person. So I find the laws are so strict and stuff like that, or sometimes because of that's why even maybe the doctors come in for the corroborative evidence. When I'm raped, I need to go to the whatever hospital and everything, But sometimes there are circumstances, especially in children, whereby something happens to the child and then they go to birth or something, and then they sort of,
The child abuse, I can say that it's a new term under the Zambian scene. We can compare it to other terms which have just surfaced on Zambian scene, like which term? Like EPIC. It was not there some time back. We are just listening. Like another term which is new. The New Deal, the sexual harassment, those are new terminologies, not so. They were not there. So you find that even in law, because laws are made maybe after some time, or when there is an outcry. That's when people at parliament say, oh, there's an outcry of this. Let's come up with a law. Then they enact a law pertaining to that particular issue. So even in law, as it is now, we don't have an offense, or we don't have anything which can talk about child abuse.
You find that the acronym would be like PSS, meaning it's something that deals with the mind as well as with the social aspect of a child. Here we are talking about a child. In our Zambian society, we find that there are a lot of orphans, and some of them are vulnerable children. And so you find that in their state, they're traumatized in one way or the other.
It's like we all know the artists, the musicians, and the various artists have great influence on what they say or what they portray, you know. So I think it's an excellent idea that artists are going on board and trying to get out there and send positive messages. I imagine this little innocent child who knows nothing but security from an elder person, who knows when they see an elder person, they find protection, and then they're given to start crushing stones, to start carrying big buckets and things like that. You know, for me, I feel so much for that child, you know, because the child's coming into a world of hardship as far as that child, because once you start doing that as a child, that's molding that child's life. So straight away the child thinks that's the future, that's the, you know, hardship.
I look forward to attending more of such workshops, and they've really changed the way I think. They've changed the way I feel about children. Of course, even in the beginning I had the passion for children, but it's just that this has kind of improved how I truly feel. As an artist, I guess I'll be more involved and more particular about it now, even where my music is concerned. Thank you.
Apart from the local programs, the ambassadors also find time to attend international seminars and regional workshops on child labor.
But you know, you always, as a man, you always take your life in your hands when you... This is a workshop basically about how we can look at involving children more and more in our work. Children are one of the most important stakeholders that we have. The whole program of IPEC is all about children. So we want to find ways, creative ways, innovative ways, exciting ways, challenging ways that children will really like, to involve them in our work. And this workshop is looking at what we've already done in different countries in Africa, and then how we can maybe learn from each other, learn from different experiences, and then using our own Scream Education Pack, how we can challenge children to come up with new ideas, to find ways to support us in our work, to eliminate child labour, to help children have an education back, to help them have their childhoods back, find their friends, be with their families, and basically be children and be themselves, while at the same time taking responsibility for big things in life, like child labour, like their education, and contributing to whatever's happening in their countries with the governments, with the trade unions, with the employers, with NGOs, with communities and with families.
I think it's going well.
Yeah.
And I think it's worthwhile, definitely. I think for us, Scream is we've known its potential, but we haven't really been able to fully grasp it. So at least for me, it's a steep learning curve, and I hope it's the same kind of learning curve for other participants.
Yeah.
We want to know what child labor is. Who is your minister? Do you want to speak in English or now Davide Chilichons? Chinyanja, okay, it's all right. Do you have anything?
Dear Frank.
Frank, mpasa nkoni manja Frank first. Frank, child labor ni chani?
Ni kupasa mwana nchito ikulu.
Nivichi kasi icho mukusuza
Other information dissemination materials have been created to supplement the open-air sensitization roadshows. The results are clear. From the many seminars, workshops, and stakeholder meetings, the artists practically and physically deliver the messages and the strategies suggested. The concerts attract thousands of people at a time and hence have proved to be a good target for mass dissemination of the relevant messages. It is vital that these messages against child labor be disseminated to the most remote areas of the continent, and the ambassadors are doing just that.
We are on the bandwagon coming from Chipata, doing sensitization shows on child labor. This is the Eastern Province, Zambia.
We are in the Eastern Province of Zambia. Right now we are in Luangwa. We are from Chipata. We're sensitizing people on issues of child labor. And, you know, to my surprise, I found such beautiful girls, young girls, even complaining to me saying, "Sister D, can you buy bananas from me? I'm so tired with these things. I can't afford to carry them all day." And, you know, it's been like people at least have learned what child labor is.
Munga bana munga uyu wamenali hapa onyamura chisaka chaka ndoroji mairando wembo uruka magazi dena kakamba uruka magazi atawe fiti yandiwe ya mwana kuti pe fiti nifika ndorori kuna maoremoni na mabafa batomato vamena nyamura uyu mwana wambo uruka magazi so ndiye mfiti amene nyamura vimasaka abambo kamba ati ni tibi kasi tibi pali tibi ni vimasaka na vimababa vamena nyamura so abati pe kuti boma yanganeko pali wana wangona aba.
As you heard the Ghanaian minister say, children are using fishing. They dive down into deep waters to untangle nets. Children are using in mines. We have what we call it galamsey, but it's people digging holes, not commercial mining, but still mining. And the children go into these holes. Sometimes the holes cave in, and the children are buried alive. Children also work on the cocoa plantation because cocoa plantation needs a lot of labor. It's not commercial farming, it's peasant farming, and they use domestic child labor to do various aspects of the cocoa farming.
Tanzania has been implementing a time-bound program on child labor for the past 5 years, and we're just about to get another phase on the time-bound program. But you also have other complementing programs which are either local or on sub-regional basis. And basically we're focusing on 4 sectors, which are commercial sex, domestic work, commercial agriculture, and mining in Tanzania.
Child labor is a very serious problem in Zambian society, and right behind me is cotton. Most of this cotton, you'll be surprised, is being picked by kids as young as 6 years old in the rural areas of Zambia. We are in Katete here, where there is a large amount of cotton being grown. The farmers here believe the kids have tender hands, so they use the children to pick the cotton from the fields because they believe they won't spoil the buds for them to maximize on their production. And so the kids are made to work for hours to the end to pick the cotton, which ends up in bales like this right behind me.
Johnny Johnny Baba, Johnny Baba.